Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 4. In the last episode, after parting ways with Ooshi and the old man who we later came to find out at the end of the last episode is the dam foreman of the Hinamizawa Dam construction project, we got into the informant's car and drove around town a bit, while he told us about a meeting that took place between the leaders of Hinamizawa village, where they mostly discussed their plans to keep securing funding for the Onikafuchi Defense Alliance, along with continuing to discuss and plan out their tactics here to try and stall and ultimately subvert the project altogether. And eventually, the topic of the Minister of Construction's grandson being kidnapped was brought up. And this is very interesting because the public is still, information about this is still not privy to the public yet. So the fact that they know anybody within that meeting knew anything about the kidnapping at all, basically points to the idea that they most likely have a mole within the government or within the Metropolitan Police Department that has knowledge about this kidnapping at all, and relayed it to some of the leaders in Hinamizawa village. So, yeah, there, and on top of that, our cover was apparently already blown before we even came to Hinamizawa, because the topic of me, Akasaka, being sent here to investigate the Onikafuchi Defense Alliance in relation to this kidnapping was also brought up during the same meeting. So, yeah, the way I see it, it looks to me like there's a mole within the Metropolitan Police Department. So, right now, they're just letting me do it as I please, but Oreo pretty much stated during the meeting pretty succinctly that as long as he, meaning me, doesn't cause too much of a ruckus, just leave the guy alone. Otherwise, do with him what you will, as quickly and swiftly as possible. So, yeah. We're already in a very precarious situation here, and our mission has already been a bit of a bust before we even came, so not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. But considering everything that we've learned here, or at least from Akasaka's point of view, if I was in his shoes and I had no knowledge of anything I saw in the tips up until this point, I would basically just sound the alarm to the Metropolitan Police Department to look into this, while also, I was gonna suggest that he would also just try to get in touch with somebody that he could trust here, this information here, in case there was a mole. But, well, the idea of there being a mole hasn't really crossed his mind, number one, Akasaka's, so he wouldn't feel inclined here to be very selective about who he would tell this to back in Tokyo. And number two, we don't really know who the mole could possibly be either. So he'd be pretty much taking a gamble with calling anybody back in Tokyo about this and just telling them what's going on, because for all we know, he could very well end up talking to the mole directly. And if the mole's aware of what's going on, then, well, that might spell bad news for us. Either way, we need to change up our game plan. So otherwise, we're going to get nowhere fast, if not something a lot worse than that. And I think that pretty much covers the gist of everything, so I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. I had a restless night's sleep. I did nothing but turn over repeatedly during a night that seemed like it lasted for eternity. Even then, I eventually fell asleep at some point, not realizing how high in the sky the sun had risen. I shook off the urge to go back to sleep. I'd imagine that ringing phone would help with that. It was then I noticed that the phone was ringing. The time was almost 10:30 in the morning. It was clearly too late for a wake-up call.
Akasaka-san desu ka?
Akasaka-san. Good morning, Ooshi.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Ooshi desu.
Good morning. It's Ooshi. Waking up to the sound of Ooshi's voice was a little too much of a shock. My delicate ears were ringing. But thanks to that shock, I was suddenly wide awake.
Domo.
Hello.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning.
ひょっとして今お目覚めですか?
Could it be you just woke up? Astute observation, detective.
出張中とはいえ勤務時間には起きないといけませんよ.
Even though you're on assignment, it's still not good to be asleep during regular business hours.
まったくです。
You're absolutely right.
以後、気をつけます。
I'll be more careful in the future.
あなたの眠気をもう一つ覚ましてあげられるかもしれない話があります。
I have another tidbit that might wake you up even more. Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Hinamizawa駐在所から届いた遺失物に興味深いものが混じっていたんです。
There was something interesting mixed in with the lost and found at the Hinamizawa police box. Is it the severed head of somebody I should know?
遺失物?
Lost and found?
詳しい話はこちらにいらっしゃってからにしましょう。
Let's leave the details for when you get here.
お昼前に来れますか?
You think you'll be able to make it before noon?
いえ、すぐに伺います。
No, I'll be there right away. Ooshi already knew what my mission was. Since Ooshi said it was something that would wake me up, it was hard to believe that it would be irrelevant to me. Honestly speaking, judging by the information from Sato-san yesterday, knowing that my cover was already blown, I couldn't wander to and from Hinamizawa carelessly. In other words, my investigation was at an impasse. If there was some information there that could put me back on the trail, that'd be nothing less than a stroke of good fortune. After vigorously washing my face, I pulled on my jacket and hailed a taxi, heading towards the Okinomiya Police Station.
Oh, 来た来た.
Oh, you're here.
天才ジャンシ様の到着だ.
The genius mahjong player has arrived.
遅くなって申し訳ありません。
My apologies for being late.
で、一体何が出たんですか?
So, what exactly popped up? With absolutely no intention of reminiscing about last night's mahjong game, I pressed him to get to the point. Ooshi, anticipating that I would act that way, cut to the chase without any resistance.
先ほども申し上げましたが、今朝Hinamizawaの駐在所から遺失物が届きました。
Like I said earlier, something arrived from the Hinamizawa police boxes lost and found this morning. Lost items that were turned over to the police box were sent to Okinomiya Station after the paperwork was filled out. Ooshi pulled out a plastic bag from a drawer and laid its labeled contents on the desk.
財布ですか?
Is that a wallet? So human heads can look like wallets now.
でしょうな。
Indeed.
中には小銭はあってもお札はなかったもんなんで。
There was small change inside, but no bills.
スリが中身を抜いた後に捨ててったのかななんて思ったんですがね。
We thought that a pickpocket threw it away after pulling out the contents.
最初は。
At first. Let me guess. Is it Sato's wallet by any chance? Was he found out? I didn't understand how this wallet, so far removed from Tokyo, could possibly be related to the kidnapping. Or, wait. Is this around the time that the damn foreman got chopped up? If it had drawn Ooshi's attention, it would have to be something dramatic, like if the wallet belonged to the missing grandchild. That'd be absurd. Like something that convenient would happen. If that was it, then there was probably initials written on the wallet. Like the initials of Toshiki Inugai, the minister's grandson, T.I. Thinking like that, at this point I didn't suppose that this wallet was something that could get Ooshi so excited. Ooshi, after putting on a pair of disposable plastic gloves, handed me a pair of the same. I didn't feel that this wallet was such an important thing, so I had my doubts about whether there was any point in putting on gloves. However, I didn't want Ooshi's intentions to go to waste, so I put them on. Ooshi opened the plastic bag and pulled it out, showing me the back. As I had imagined, there were initials engraved there. But it was slightly more detailed than what I had thought, with Toshiki I marked on it. Well, I guess the kidnappers needed to scrounge up some change to get some gas for their portable stove and borrowed the kids' money. Ooshi grinned at me with a look on his face that said, "See? We can't confirm from that that this belongs to Mr.'s grandson," I informed him calmly. This wallet was irrelevant. It was nothing more than Ooshi's overeagerness. First of all, there was absolutely no way in this distant locale that the missing grandson's wallet would be found with such convenient timing. If only you knew where he actually was. After all, the Onigufuchi Defense Alliance wasn't related to the case in the first place. So there was no way this wallet belonged to the grandson. Why I wanted to decide this was the case, even I didn't really know. Even though what should have been a top secret case was leaked before I'd even been dispatched. In this situation, how could I say this was definitely unrelated? It would be more prudent to pay more attention to this wallet. It had only been a couple days since I arrived in Hinamizawa. But in those couple of days, due to the number of remarkable events, my nerves might have become just a little frayed. Shaking my head slightly, I cleared it of unnecessary thoughts. Ooshi opened the wallet's zipper, revealing the contents. Inside was small change, and it was small change and a number of crumpled receipts. Ooshi, from that jumble, pulled out a folded card. Seeing that, my heart stopped for a moment. It was a card from a dental examination. The name Toshiki Inugai and the age. A perfect match. The dentist's location was in Tokyo. I don't think there can be any doubt now whose this wallet this belongs to. There was no need to explain any further. How far was it from Tokyo to Hinamizawa? It was far enough that taking the bullet trains and cars would still take several hours. Why would a wallet with a dental examination card from Tokyo inside show up in Hinamizawa? Could it belong to a tourist who came from Tokyo? Or maybe a villager on vacation to Tokyo just happened to pay a visit to the dentist. No, it had to have fallen into somebody's bag by accident. You tell yourself that. In my mind, I desperately struggled to find a possible excuse as to why this wallet didn't belong to Toshiki Inugai. It was as if it just wouldn't do for this wallet to belong to him. However, weeding out any possibility for error one by one, the haze surrounding the wall in front of me faded, gradually letting it come into clear focus.
Ne?
See? I felt a shiver of electricity run up my spine. My pulse quickened, and a thin film of sweat began to coat my entire body. From Ooshi's point of view, I was probably slack-jawed and spaced out, with a slovenly look on my face.
この歯科には問い合わせましたか?
Did you get information from the dental office?
そりゃ赤坂さんの仕事でしょ?
That's your job, Akasaka-san.
私はまだそこまでは.
I didn't go that far.
この財布はいつ頃のものでしょうね?
When did this wallet show up?
拾ったのは村人です。
The person who picked it up was a villager.
昨日のことだそうで。
They did so yesterday, it seems.
じゃなくて、この財布はいつ頃落ちたものでしょうね?
Not that. I mean, when was this wallet dropped?
ここいらに雨があったのはちょうど先週7日前。
It rained here last week, exactly 7 days ago.
中身が水にやられた様子はないから、最長で6日前からでしょうね。
It doesn't look like the contents are water damage, so the longest it could be would probably be 6 days.
この財布の存在は署内で誰が知ってます?
Does anybody else at this station have knowledge of the existence of this wallet?
初期対応のHinamizawa駐在所の警官。
The officer who first encountered it at the Hinamizawa police box.
それから遺失物対応で係が 2,3 人。
And also the 2 or 3 people in charge of the lost and found.
あとは私とあなた。
Other than that, it's just me and you.
内緒の事件と関係があったらまずいでしょ?
If it's involved in a classified case, it'd be hard to talk about it. It'd be hard to talk about, wouldn't it?
ベラベラとは喋ってないつもりですよ。
I don't intend to wag my tongue.
電話を借りていいですか?
May I borrow a phone?
どうぞどうぞ。
Go ahead.
外線は0発信から。
Dial 0 to get an outside line. I dialed the phone number inscribed on the examination card. I could hear my pulse pounding inside my head. Could there possibly be something so absurd? The addresses on the receipts and cards inside the wallet were all from around the area where the grandson lived. The name on the examination card was also a match. The time we deduced that the wallet had been left behind also matched up with the timeline of the kidnapping. Of course, it was possible I could just laugh it off as all a big pile of coincidences. There wasn't any strong evidence. Rather than all this circumstantial proof, the contents of the phone call I was about to make would have much greater meaning.
はい、お待たせしました。
Hello, sorry to keep you waiting.
中川歯科です。
This is Nakagawa Dental Office.
どうも。こちらはOkinomiya署です。
Hello. This is the Okinomiya Police Department.
実はお財布の落とし物がありまして、所有者の連絡先を探しております。
I have a misplaced wallet here, and I'm trying to get into contact with the owner.
ご協力をいただいてもよろしいでしょうか?
Would you be able to help me?
お財布の中にそちら様の診察カードが入っておりまして。
Inside the wallet, there was an examination card from your office.
ええ。
Yes.
氏名は犬飼俊樹くんです。
The name is Toshiki Inugai.
カードの番号を申し上げますので、電話番号をお調べいただいてもよろしいでしょうか?
If I give you the number on the card, would you be able to look up the phone number?
ええ。ありがとうございます。
Yes, thank you.
お願いできますか?
If you could. Still holding the receiver, I pulled out a notebook from my breast pocket with my free hand. I opened up to the page of the grandson's address and phone number recorded on it.
どうもすみません。
Yes, hello.
はい。
Yes,
お願
go
いします。
ahead. I compared the phone number written on my notebook to the one that was being read out on the other end of the line. They match, right? During that process, I spun around to look behind me uneasily. I locked eyes with Ooshi. Ooshi looked puzzled, wondering what the matter was. Why did I feel uneasy and look behind me? That was because the person on the end of the line was reading out the numbers as though doing so straight from my notebook. It seemed that HQ was in quite an uproar, thanks to my report. No matter how many times the authenticity of the evidence I had linked to the grandson was called into question, I could only respond that it was the truth. When the lead investigator first picked up the phone, I was grilled about the evidence I'd found that was almost too good to be true, if I do say so myself. But after having doubt after doubt dispelled, he fell into silence. The receiver was finally handed over to the section chief. When he picked it up, the background thrum on the other end of the line disappeared, and I knew that it had gone completely silent. After asking the same questions about the wallet that the lead investigator did, the chief quietly spoke his next words.
わかりました。
Got it.
こちらから何人か増援を送ります。
We'll dispatch several people as reinforcements. We're calling in the cavalry, ladies and gentlemen.
今日の夕方には到着できるでしょう。
They should be able to get there by evening.
赤坂君は引き続き現地調査をお願いします。
Akasaka-kun, please continue with your investigation of the area.
財布が発見された地域の情報を収集しててください。
Get some information on the spot where the wallet was found.
加納さんは何人か選んで現地へ直接。
Kano-san will select some people and head directly there. The fact he was sending Kano, the lady investigator, here meant that the chief had decided there was a possibility that the Onikafuchi defense lines were somehow implicit in the kidnapping. However, it felt as though the lead investigator, whom he trusted, had verified the evidence with his own eyes. He was still going to be skeptical about it.
どうでした？
How did it go?
本庁から増援が出発するそうです。
Seems that HQ is sending reinforcements.
私は現地調査を命じられました。
I was ordered to investigate the area.
財布の落ちていた場所はどこなんです？
Where was the wallet dropped?
高津戸のあたりだそうです。
Around Takasudo, apparently.
ここが沖宮。
This is Okinomiya.
ずーっと行ってここがhinamizawa。
All the way over here, this is Hinamizawa.
でさらに上流にぐーっと上がっていくとこの辺が高津戸です。
Then, even further upstream, way up around here, is Takasudo. Ooshi explained where the wallet was found by pointing to locations on the map on the wall. This place called Takatsudo was even more remote than Hinamizawa was.
高津戸界隈はほとんど民家なんかありませんよ。
There's hardly anybody living in the area around Takatsudo.
昔の廃村です。
It was deserted a long time ago.
無人の家屋が点在するなんとも寂しいあたりですね。
It's littered with abandoned houses, so it's really quite desolate around there. Abandoned village, huh? I wonder why they all had to leave.
大石さん、
Ooshi-san,
高津戸へ案内してもらうことはできますか？
could I ask you to guide me to Takatsudo?
構いませんよ。
Yeah, I don't mind.
赤坂さんお一人ではなかなか自由にhinamizawaに出入りはできないでしょうからね。
You can't really get in and out of Hinamizawa as you please by yourself, after all.
無論また野球帽とマスクをしてもらうことになりますが。
Of course, I'll have to make you wear the cap and mask again. That Ooshi had agreed to accompany me was very reassuring. If Sato-san's info was to be believed, my cover had been blown. I wasn't sure if the villagers had realized that the fresh meat dispatch from public safety was a tourist that had visited the village yesterday. In other words, me. Deciding that they hadn't noticed would have been overly optimistic. Given a cursory thought, Takatsudo, where the wallet was found, couldn't be ruled out as a hiding spot for the kidnappers. The Takatsudo area didn't have any residential buildings, nor was it alongside a highway. There wasn't a reason for even the locals to go out of their way to visit it. It was exactly what you would call a long-forgotten ghost town at the end of the road. You couldn't ask for a better place to hold a kidnapped grandson. Also, you couldn't get to Takatsudo without passing through Hinamizawa first. Those several conditions made the area all the more important. I couldn't brush it off any longer. There was no longer any doubt that Onikufuchi Defense Alliance, or somebody hired by them, were involved in the kidnapping. If that was the case, then the fact that this wallet was found might have already been leaked to them. They even knew so much as how the Public Safety Division was operating. The case of the wallet couldn't be something they didn't know. In that case, there was a possibility that the enemy was lying in wait. It's a very reasonable assumption, honestly, so if I were you, I'd come prepared. To dive alone to enemy territory surrounded by enemy territory, to say the least, required an almost amount of courage, nay, recklessness, that I just did not have.
大石さんの同行がなければ、そうおいそれと踏み込めない村でしたので。
Without your company, Ooshi-san, I wouldn't be able to step into the village so easily.
ご協力いただけて、本当に助かりました。
Thank you very much for your cooperation.
正直なところ、またお金を要求されるのではと思ってましたよ。
Honestly, I thought you would ask for more money. He's probably just gonna end up asking you to pay him later.
それは正直を言えば、Hinamizawaなんか好き好んで行きたがないですからね。
Well, if we're being honest, Hinamizawa isn't exactly a place I like to go to.
運賃でも弾んでもらいたい気分ですが。
I'd at least appreciate it if you paid for a cab fare.
でも、一緒にタコを囲んだ友人の頼みとあれば、断るわけにはいきませんしね。
Still, it's not a request I can refuse from a friend that's played at the same table as me. Ooshi grinned as he pounded me on the back. It struck me that he didn't want to jump ship, rather than having any sort of sense of duty towards his job. Even so, that didn't really matter. Right now, I really appreciated the gesture.
では、早速出してもらえますか。
Well then, shall we hurry up and get going? If the enemy knew that the police had obtained the wallet, then they would probably have moved the hostage to a different place. There wasn't a moment to lose. But Ooshi, without regard to the fact that we were about to head out, began to remove his jacket.
何をしてるんですか？
What are you doing?
まあ、用心ですよ。
Well, just a precaution.
家中の栗を拾うなら、相応の用意が必要と思いましてね。
If you want me to poke the beehive to get your honey, I have to be rather well prepared, you see.
あなたも来ます。
Do you want to put one on too? What Ooshi pulled from the drawer below the desk was a stab-proof vest. Well, just like I was saying, we should go in prepared, so I would take the vest. His name was Toshiki Inugai, the grandson of a Minister of Construction, Inugai. There was only one reason for him being here. If you didn't include gym or art class, his grades were above average. That was a result of having private tutoring sessions twice a week. If you omitted the fact that he still couldn't do pull-ups, there wasn't much else that would make him hate school. Of course, he understood full well that his grandfather was a cabinet minister. But he also knew that not too many people were that interested in their relationship. He didn't like to go out of his way to bring up his grandfather, or to call him the Minister of Construction. And finally, he at least tried to know a little more about what kind of work the Minister of Construction did than your average Joe. What that entailed was that when you tried your best to make life better for the masses, sometimes you made a few enemies. He knew that all too well from the time he'd spent as class representative. His grandfather had many enemies. He knew that he might personally catch some of that fallout, so he had to be twice as cautious. He was taught that by his parents. That's why, the moment he was kidnapped, he instantly knew that this was one of those occasions. He understood that he wasn't being treated as Toshiki Inugai, the person, but rather as Toshiki Inugai, the grandson of the Minister of Construction. That he wasn't personally at fault, but that this was the result of some unavoidable trouble of his grandfather's work. It made little difference, but when he realized it wasn't because of anything he did, he was able to relax, if only a little. Of course, at first he was struck with terror befitting his age, wondering what was going to happen to him. But after a while, being tied up and only able to stay lying down, he began to ponder a great many things. First, he thought about the reason he was being abducted like this. He understood the answer to that easily. He was taken hostage to coerce his grandfather, the minister. There was no doubt about that. He didn't know exactly what the Minister of Construction did, but it was easy to imagine that there was much to be gained from threatening him. He respected his grandfather more than most. He earnestly believed that his own grandfather was within the top 20 of the most important people in Japan. That was exactly why he wouldn't forgive anybody who tried to threaten his beloved grandfather. More importantly, he wouldn't forgive anybody who would use him as a tool to threaten his grandfather. His grandfather was really busy and rarely had time to meet with relatives. That's why, with what little time he did manage to scrape together, he just dropped by unannounced. And, as an apology for not being able to meet during New Year's or summer vacation, he doted on his grandson very, very much. The number of times that Toshiki was looked upon with disregard just because his grandfather was a politician and a minister certainly weren't few. But he never thought even once that he wanted his grandfather to quit being a politician. Because it was his beloved grandfather, he wanted him to continue his career as long as possible from the bottom of his heart. What a supportive grandson. However, Toshiki was now being held hostage, and his grandfather was being threatened. His grandfather, who called him the apple of his eye, was surely suffering. He might do anything to save his grandson. Maybe even putting aside his ideology if it was required to save his grandson. He might cave into the culprit's demands if it meant saving his grandson. When Toshiki thought about that, an inexplicable anger welled up within him. In his current situation, he was unable to forgive the cowards who would make his beloved grandfather suffer by using such dastardly means. That feeling swelled up inside him, displacing the fear. I wonder how you'd feel if you understood the kidnapper's motivations, kid. What he thought at first was something any boy would imagine. Get out of these bonds, beat up the bad guys, then hand them over to the police. Images of all the brave heroes from all the manga he had read passed through the back of his mind. In his imaginary scenario, he had slipped his bonds easily, floating like a butterfly to evade his captors, then stinging like a bee to bring them all down. In the end, it was nothing more than his silly little fantasy. But with his vision obstructed and unable to see anything, it was something that he could get into more than any anime at the moment. In actuality, he was enjoying these little scenarios in his head for the long period of time he was tied up. His captors hadn't really done anything to him that they would feel sorry for. However, eventually, he began to grow tired of his fantasies, and more realistic scenarios began to run through his head. It was then he realized that none of them were a solution. Yes, he wanted to do something for his grandfather who was being threatened. That he was being held here to inflict pain on his grandfather was the thing that he could least forgive, and also the most vexing. And then, he noticed. There was a much simpler way he could save his grandfather without having to beat up his despicable captors. You're not going to harm yourself, are you? That was to remove himself as a hostage from the hands of these villains. If he was to disappear from here, his captors would have nothing to threaten his grandfather with. The captors had restrained him, but they didn't threaten him roughly, and they made sure he was fed well enough. Meaning, at most, he was nothing more than the means of their threat. They weren't looking to bully or kill him out of spite. If he behaved, no ill would befall him. Realizing that gave him a strong sense of courage. And carrying his train of thought this far, he let it run its course to its natural conclusion. Right now, at this moment, Toshiki Inugai had decided to escape. His ears had been stuffed with sponge-like material, acting as makeshift earplugs. However, they didn't actually do much to block out any sound, and he could overhear everything his captors were saying. Realizing that this was to his advantage, even when his captors spoke to him, he acted like he couldn't hear them due to the earplugs. His captors, thinking that he couldn't hear their conversation, talked about all sorts of things without any reservations. Thanks to that, he was able to obtain various pieces of information. First of all, this wasn't Tokyo. It seemed that this was quite a distance away, and on top of that, in the countryside, nestled deep in the mountains. It also seemed that his captors were inconvenienced to living out here, so he could deduce that this place was far removed from any sort of town. Finally, on my desk. Finally, whenever they went out to buy food or other supplies, they would always take a car. That fact caused him some dismay, because he knew that the method he learned at school of running around blindly while shouting for help wouldn't work here. He paused his little mental escape scenario there. His ultimate goal was to find somebody who would help him. If somebody who fit that description wasn't close by, his chances of escaping successfully grew slim. A desolate, far-off land, deep in the mountains. A place where he couldn't even go shopping without using a car. In this situation, escaping would be very difficult. He grew depressed, and after a while, he returned to his original scenario. Imagining becoming a hero like in the manga he read, and beating down his captors became his respite. However, as he played those delusions out in his head, his heart, hating to surrender, continued to search for a way to escape. And then, he thought of a way. If the goal was far away, then all he had to do was get closer. His goal, in a nutshell, was to find somebody who would help him. In other words, somebody other than his captors. If he faked being sick, then his captors would take him to the hospital or bring a doctor to him. They would probably be reluctant to do that. But he already knew that the hostage was more important than anything. And the off chance that something happened, like him dying, occurred, they wouldn't be able to threaten anybody anymore. Luckily, he had experience that would help him fake a serious illness. At the end of last year, he was inadvertently involved in a car accident and had to undergo surgery. The scar from that surgery was still clearly visible in his lower torso. He recalled the pain and suffering from that time. The existence of that experience would make a huge impact on the realism of his performance. He was quite confident in his ability to fake an illness. His captors at first took it as a sign that he needed to use the washroom. Untying only his arms, they tried to bring him there while he was still blindfolded. But he didn't try to get up. His hands, now free, only clutched at his abdomen as he writhed in agony.
おい、どうしたんだ?
Hey, what's wrong?
腹でも痛いのか?
Does your stomach hurt? He still had his earplugs in, so he had pretended he didn't hear his captors asking the question. He was about to nod, so he hurriedly had to stop himself.
どったんね?
What's the matter?
小僧が腹を押さえてるよ.
Yeah, the kid's clutching at his stomach.
腹痛かな?
Must be a stomachache or something. His captors looked down on his suffering form for a bit. One of them proposed a course of action, while another laid his doubts that Toshiki might be faking it.
どったんね, 坊主.
What's wrong, boy?
腹痛むんかい?
Your tummy hurt?
そいつ、耳を塞いでるから聞こえてないぜ.
His ears are plugged, so he can't hear you.
参ったんな.
Well, that's a problem.
腹痛に効く薬なんかあらんね.
Do we got any medicine that works on stomach pain?
薬局行って買ってくるか.
Might want to go to the pharmacy and buy some?
腹痛って言ったっていろんな薬があるだろう.
When it comes to stomach pain, there's a bunch of different meds, isn't there?
症状がわからないうちはいい加減な薬は買えないぜ.
As long as we don't know the cause, we shouldn't just buy him any old medicine. Well, that's actually quite smart of you.
腹押さえてるし、便秘やん.
He's old in his stomach. Maybe he's just constipated.
便秘薬でも買ってくれば収まるやんね.
If you buy him some medicine for that, maybe that'll calm him down.
間違って飲んでも死なんしな.
It won't kill him if we're wrong either.
決めつけるなよ.
Don't decide something like that on your own.
盲腸とかかもしれないだろう.
It might be appendicitis or something. I don't know what that is.
俺のおじさんがさ、昔急になったことあってよ.
My uncle suddenly got it a while ago.
あれはかなりビビったぜ.
It was pretty scary. One of the captors leaned over beside the boy, who was bent over in agony.
かわいそうにな.
I feel sorry for the kid.
全身汗だらけじゃないかよ.
Wow, his whole body's covered in sweat. God damn, this kid's so talented at faking illnesses, he can control his sweat glands.
腹か?
Is it your stomach?
痛むのか?
Does it hurt?
おいおい、痛むんならあんまり抑え込んじゃかえって悪いぞ.
Hey, hey, if it hurts, you shouldn't clutch at it so tightly. It'll only make it worse. Realizing that his captors were concerned about his stomach, he inadvertently let his shirt right up, letting the scar from his surgery come into plain view. His vision was still obscured with packing tape, so he couldn't see the reaction to his scar. But his captors were taken aback, and judging from their momentary silence, he obtained the reaction he was looking for.
おい、やばいぜ.
Hey, this is bad.
この手術跡、そんなに昔のものじゃないぜ。
This scar, it's not that old.
その小僧、熱出てるんかいね。
Does that boy have a fever?
体温計あるん？
There a thermometer around?
あるわけねえよ。
No way we have one.
でもすごい汗だぜ。
But that's a lot of sweat.
おでこは結構熱いと思う。
Yeah, his forehead feels pretty hot, I think. Does he actually have something for real? A sickness, I mean?
緊張状態が続くとさ、昔の傷なんかに応えたりするって聞いたことあるぜ。
I've heard that under prolonged stress, old wounds can be aggravated.
じゃあどうすんよ。
Then what do we do?
薬じゃ治らんちゅんてんか？
Are you saying the medicine won't work?
何の手術跡か知らねえけど、
We don't know what surgery this scar was from.
とにかくまずいだろ
But in any case, this is bad.
う。下手すると命に関わるぜ。
In the worst case, it could be fatal.
まずいんて。
This is bad.
これは本当にまずいんて。
This is really, really bad.
医者に見せた方がいい。
We should have a doctor take a look at it.
このままじゃ突然ぽっくりいっちまう可能性だってあるだろう。
At this rate, there's a chance that he might suddenly die on us. Toshiki Inugai, with those few words, knew the situation was progressing exactly as he had envisioned, and snickering himself on the inside, pressed his act even further. He didn't even need to see to know that his captors were panicked, and were running around like chickens with their heads cut off at this troublesome turn of events.
診療所連れて行くか。
Should we take him to the clinic?
そりゃまずん。
No. That's no good.
先生を連れてくる方がいいね。
Probably better if that doctor came here.
入江の先生か。
Dr. Irie, you mean?
いいのか。
Is that okay?
大丈夫か。
Would that be alright?
人質に何かあったらまずんね。
It'd be worse if anything happened to the hostage.
しゃあない。緊急事態やん。
Nothing we can do. It's an emergency. One of the captors hurriedly left in the car. Another of the men, completely shaken up at this point, wiped the sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief. It looked like they were bringing a doctor. As long as the doctor was an accomplice, that doctor was his goal. He was someone he should seek help from. His captors were probably wary of that happening. They would be prepared for it. This would all come down to luck. Some of the sweat emerging from his brow was from that nervousness. At that moment, the packing tape that was covering his eyes and ears was torn off. The burning light that he was seeing for the first time in several days hurt his eyes. After that, the gag that made it hard for him to breathe was also removed.
大丈夫か小僧。
Are you alright, kid?
今お医者を連れてくるからな。
We're bringing a doctor to you right now.
しばらく我慢してろな。
Just hold on for a bit. The doctor was coming. The doctor was coming. Now, how is he going to ask for help? And how is he going to get away from his captors? A plethora of thoughts began swirling through his mind.
分かってると思うが、
I think you know this already,
お医者に余計なことは言うなよ。
but don't say anything unnecessary to the doctor.
俺たちも別にお前に乱暴がしたいわけじゃないんだ。
We don't want to hurt you or anything.
そりゃ分かってるよな。
You understand that, right? Toshiki Inugai nodded while feigning pain and obedience. His expectations and the enemy's expectations. Whether they doubted he was faking his illness or not, they knew what his goal was, and would try to stop it. His stomach contracted from the stress of this gambit, making it seem like his stomach really was starting to hurt. No, It really was. But there was no reason to panic. If he failed this approach to the doctor, there was nothing to lose. If there was something to lose, it was this method of faking illness to get in touch with a doctor. If you could think of other methods from here on out, it wasn't much. But, at the present, this was the easiest and most dramatic way he could think of. The more he thought about it, the more it looked like this was his first and last gambit. Eventually, he heard the sound of a car approaching once again. The sound of the car doors being hurriedly opened and shut. The sounds of several footsteps approaching. God damn, that was fast! A young man in a white medical coat. As he acknowledged the boy, a suspicious look showed itself on his face.
彼は
Who's he?
村の子じゃありませんね。
He's not one of the kids from the village, is he? The captors didn't respond. From the looks of it, the young doctor had realized that this was an abnormal situation. One of the captors talked threateningly.
先生には関係のないことです。
That's got nothing to do with you, Doc. For a while, the doctor and the captors silently glared at one another. However, unable to stand the sight of the boy continuing to suffer, the doctor, as the captors had hoped, didn't press any further.
その古い手術跡というのが気になります。
I'm concerned about this old surgical scar.
何の手術でしたか？
What kind of operation was it?
そりゃわからないです。
We don't know.
本当は診療所に連れ帰るべきなんですがね。
I should really bring him back to the clinic.
先生、そりゃさすがにちょっと。
Doc, we really can't really do that. Really? The doctor said he wanted to bring the boy back to the clinic, but the captors simply silently shook their heads at the notion. It was a fleeting hope, but it was only natural that the captors would refuse. At that moment, his eyes met with the doctor's. Seeing that the boy's painful state was abnormal, the doctor suspected it was a serious illness.
大丈夫ですか？
Are you alright?
私は医者です。
I'm a doctor.
この手術跡はいつ頃のものですか？
When was this surgical scar from?
去年の
Last
冬
year,
に事故で
during the winter, from an accident.
事故？
An accident?
そうですか。
I see.
参ったな。
This is a problem. He couldn't let the doctor figure out that he was faking it here. He had to somehow figure out some way to keep this going, and tell the doctor that he was being confined and needed help.
患部を少し触りますよ。
I'm going to touch the affected area, okay? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dr. Irie here is aware of what's going on here. In which case, that kind of makes him complicit in this kidnapping thing.
痛むところがあったら
I'm
言
going
ってくださいね。
I'm going to touch the affected area, okay? If it hurts, tell me where. See, now it's extremely painful. The doctor crossed his arms and began to ponder. He had to somehow get himself to a hospital. To Toshiki Inugai, faking this illness was the performance of a lifetime.
ええ皆さんもご苦労さんなことです。
Meanwhile, back to our lovely detectives. Yeah, good work, everyone.
もう暑いでしょうが、せいぜい頑張ってくださいよ。
I know it's hot, but please do your best.
不法投棄のダンプが現れたらすぐにご連絡ください。
If you catch anybody illegally dumping, please contact someone immediately.
急行いたしますのでね。
We'll act quickly.
ご協力感謝しますよ、大石さん。
Thank you for your cooperation, Ooshi-san.
どうぞ。
Please. A gap wide enough for a single car was opened up in the barricade. Ooshi, showing his gratitude, or perhaps a threatening attitude, with a short beep on the horn, rolled the car forward through the checkpoint. This time, my appearance was the very embodiment of the word suspicious. A baseball cap, mask, and sunglasses. On top of that, even though it was sweltering, I was wearing a hoodie. Any respectable officer would be loath to not stop me for questioning. I had meant to be overcautious, knowing full well that my face was known. But it might have already been too late for that to have any use. Using that as an excuse, I doffed the unbearably hot hoodie and windbreaker, ripped off the mask and hat and threw them in the seat behind me.
ありゃ
Oh my.
いいんですか
Is that okay?
こんな小細工したところで
With a cheap little disguise like this,
どうせ割れているでしょうか
they probably figured it out anyways.
そりゃまあそうでしょうな。
That just might be the case. Ooshi, probably thinking that my unexpected behavior was funny, continued to laugh. The beautiful and pristine scenery of Hinamizawa spread out before me. The village itself would have been quite beautiful if it weren't for the complicated circumstances surrounding it at the moment. I would absolutely love to take Yukie here for a drive one day. Come to think of it, I didn't get a chance to call her last night. I played around with the idea in my head. But in reality, this village wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I had heard everything at the prefectural headquarters. At the heart of this village, the intelligence network that the three families wielded was, due to blood ties and regional relationships, unbelievably well organized. Their net spread not just around Hinamizawa itself, but encapsulated the entirety of the city of Shishibone as well. When I first heard that, somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I didn't take it completely seriously. How could a local organization out in the boonies here have something so grandiose? I couldn't deny that somewhere in the back of my mind I had ridiculed the thought. But not only were they really threatening the minister, but they had demonstrated they had a complete grasp on our movements, which were supposed to be top secret. They were almost like the secret police that controlled a small Eastern European country, like in some spy novel. The villagers here wouldn't bat an eye getting their hands dirty if it meant fighting the dam project. I also heard something like that at the prefectural headquarters. Now that you mention it, when I first arrived here, Ooshi said that this place was a war zone, didn't he? The residents of this village were at the same time freedom fighters. Although by definition they were no different than guerrillas or a militia. They weren't protected by the Geneva Convention, but they also didn't have to adhere to those rules either. This place was more of a quagmire than any legitimate battlefield. A secret war was unfolding. I could drive along because Ooshi was with me. But if I wanted to leave this car for even something as trivial as looking for a vending machine, there was a chance I couldn't return. even though a single shot had been fired. This was a battlefield. No. The reason why bullets weren't flying was simply because it was hard for a civilian to obtain a gun in Japan. So they were probably just equipped with weapons other than guns that were easier to obtain. That was why Ooshi was wearing that stab-proof vest, wasn't it?
Akasaka-san, 緊張してます?
Akasaka-san, are you nervous? The fact that I was apprehensive was, of course, picked up on by Ooshi. If he already figured it out, there was no point in trying to deny or hide it.
もちろんです。
Of course I am.
敵の本拠地にたった2人で乗り込んでいるんですよ。
We're heading to the heart of enemy territory, alone, aren't we?
この人数では万一の時が不安です。
I'm worried about something unlikely happens with just the two of us.
万一の時?
Something unlikely.
大丈夫ですよ。
You'll be alright.
この村の人間すべてが敵ではありませんでしたか？
Isn't everybody in this village our enemy?
全員が口裏を合わせれば、この村で白昼堂々殺人が起こっても証拠一つ残らない。
If everybody gets their stories straight, they could murder someone in broad daylight and there wouldn't be a shred of evidence.
そういうところだと聞いていますよ。
I'm asking about something like that. This was what the ironclad rule of not barging into a Yakuza office alone was about. If there wasn't a neutral party involved, that area wasn't bound by the laws of common sense. If something happened, you wouldn't be able to prove it, and there wasn't anybody who would take your side. It was pretty much the definition of poking the bear.
hinamizawa地区へ向かうと同僚に言い残してますしね。
I've left word that we're head towards the Hinamizawa area.
万一の時は無線機もありますし。
And in the worst case, we've also got a radio.
赤坂さんが怖がってるほどね。そう簡単には完全犯罪はできませんよ。
I know you're scared, Akasaka-san, but it's not that easy to pull off the perfect crime.
まあ、もちろん油断をしないに越したことはありませんがね。
Well, of course that doesn't mean we can let our guard down either.
赤坂さん、緊張しすぎですよ。
Akasaka-san, you're too worked up over this.
前にご一緒してた時の方がリラックスしてらしたじゃないですか。
You were more relaxed last time we came up here together, weren't you? Laughing it off, Ooshi thumped his chest and grinned, as if to say I could depend on him.
まあ、本当の本当にヤバくなったら。
Well, if it gets really iffy.
桜の大門にはこいつがありますからね。
This comes with having the badge. Ooshi made a motion by sticking out his index finger. It was undoubtedly the image of a gun.
役に立ちますか？
Will it be of any use?
撃った後の後始末云々が怖くなければ、実に心強いですよ。
If you're not afraid of dealing with the aftermath after you shoot, it's actually very reassuring. An officer's gun was only for show. If you really wanted to fire it, there were quite a number of stipulations, and you had to be prepared for the long probationary period afterwards. That definitely wasn't worth it. So even if an officer did unholster his gun, there wasn't one who actually wanted to pull the trigger.
赤坂さんは持ってるんですか？
Akasaka-san, are you carrying one?
これ。
One of these?
まあ、一応。
Well, yeah.
撃ったことは？
You ever fired it?
ありますよ。
I have.
訓練で、ですかね。
For training, though.
そりゃそうでしょうな。
Well, I guess that'd be true.
なら大石さんにはあるんですか？
Well then, have you, Ooshi-san?
私ですか？
Me?
まさかあるわけないじゃないですか。
Nah, there's no way. Somehow I don't believe you. What was this? I thought he was laughing at me because he had experience. The two of us laughed together.
銃口を向けたこともありませんがね。
I also never pointed the barrel at anybody.
銃口を向けられたことなら何度かありますよ。
I looked down the barrel of a gun a few times, though.
銃口を覗かされるだけで寿命が3年は縮むな。
Just being made to look down the barrel like that is enough to shorten your lifespan by about 3 years. I can imagine. Even if he had never fired a gun before, you couldn't even begin to compare the amount of experience Ooshi had over me. At a time like this, I could only marvel again at how reliable Ooshi seemed.
そういえば日の高いうちにこっちには来たくなかったな。
Come to think of it, I didn't want to come this way in the middle of the day.
でも車道はここを抜ける以外にないし。
But there's no way for a car to get through other than here.
赤坂さん、念のためもう一回マスクで顔を隠してください。
Akasaka-san, just in case, put on the mask again to hide your face, please.
どうしたんです？
What's the matter?
冷房がうるさいから聞こえないかな？
Can you not hear it because the air conditioning is too loud?
切りますよ。
I'll turn it off.
窓を開けてみてください。
Try opening the window. When I opened the window, a blast of hot air blew inside. And then, I could hear angry yelling coming from far away. Sounds like trouble. At that moment, the forest gave way on either side of us, and our view expanded suddenly. And there could be seen the Hinamizawa Dam construction grounds. The very front line for Hinamizawa Village. We're absolutely opposed to the construction of the Hinamizawa Dam! The cackling blare of someone's voice sounded over an enormous loudspeaker. The roar of angry voices continued to rumble. The incredible volume had become a veritable sound cannon, spewing out its ammunition. The prefabricated site office was surrounded by 2 sets of high fences laced with barbed wire. Lined up in front of these fences were riot police and their vehicles. And surrounding it all were the villagers. They howled out their protests against the dam as a single entity.
お、今日は少ないですね。
Oh. There's not too many of them today.
ついてます。
We're in luck.
少ないんですか？
That's not too many?
ええ、多い時だと道路までいっぱいになりますよ。
Yeah, when there's a lot of them, the crowd reaches as far as the road.
うちうち車も通れません。
You wouldn't even be able to inch forward in a car. At first, due to their overwhelming intensity, it looked to me like there was more people than there actually was. But upon closer inspection, there were at most 50 or 70 of them. But the 6 or 7 propaganda trucks lined up that looked like they belonged to a band of thugs were a strange enough sight. The villagers were also wearing helmets and bandanas, as well as covering their faces with masks, adding to the oddity of it all. The propaganda trucks, after braying their chorus, had their volume turned up even higher and began to flood the area with sutras. To say that the noise was downright violent would be an understatement. From this distance, it was still this loud. The glass in the office was probably rattling from the noise.
あれをガンガンやられるとたまんないんですよね。
They can't do anything there but take it.
昨日の連中全員耳栓してて、それでも耳がおかしくなるそうです。
Those riot squad guys, every single one of them is wearing earplugs, but they're still having their hearing damaged.
気の毒な話です。
Poor sobs.
騒音規制でなんとかできないんですか？
Can't you do something about it with noise ordinance laws?
うちの県には騒音規制に関する規定ね。 ないんですよ。
Our prefecture doesn't have any laws regarding noise ordinance.
それにほら、お経でしょ。
Also, those are sutras, right?
宗教活動規制できないし、
We can't regulate religious activities.
連中も頭いいんです。
Those guys are pretty smart. Is what I think Ooshi said. Actually, no matter how tightly the window was shut, the booming sound of the sutra still filled the car. I couldn't even hear what Ooshi, who was sitting right next to me, was saying. As the car approached the line of propaganda trucks, the blare became difficult to bear. It wasn't enough to just plug my ears with my fingers. I had to hold my head to keep my skull from splitting apart. If I had seen this terrifying energy sooner, I would have probably understood what Hinamizawa village was much quicker. Now I knew. They wouldn't blink an eye at sacrificing themselves in order to protect their hometown. So goddamn noisy. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! My head throbbed and felt like it was going to split apart. My eardrums crackled, and on top of it all, I feel like I was going to throw up. With the road crowded with a throng of squatters, the propaganda trucks, and the riot police's vehicles, it was in no way easy to get by. Even if you tried to shoo the squatters with the car horn, they were also wearing earplugs, oblivious to noises from the outside world, and wouldn't easily move. The car could only inch forward at a snail's pace. Even then, the car eventually got through, starting to leave the tumultuous noise behind.
ほら、昨日一緒に麻雀やったメンツにお年寄りさんいたでしょ。
Hey, the old guy that was playing mahjong with us last night.
覚えてます？
Remember him? Yeah, I do. I remember that there was an older person who didn't exactly mince words. The guy that Ooshi called Old Man.
いらっしゃいましたね。
There was someone like that.
彼ね、第一航空の現場監督さんなんですよ。
You see, he's the foreman of the main construction site.
あそこのプレハブの中でイライラしながら仕事をなさってるんでしょうね。
He's probably holed up in that prefab building, trying to work while irritated out of his mind.
お気の毒なことです。
Poor fella.
あれが毎日ではたまったものではないでしょう。
You wouldn't be able to stand it if it's like that every day.
え
Yeah,
耐えかねて辞めちゃう人が後を絶ちません。
there's no end to the number of people who can't handle it and quit.
まあ、その度にお給金がアップしてるんで、なんとも言えませんが。
But every time that happens, their wages go up, so I won't say it's in vain. Even having to deal with all that noise and hostility, they still made a wage that Ooshi found enviable.
ちくしょう、こいつら。
Damn it, these guys.
聞こえてるのか聞こえてないのか。
Can they hear or can't they? A group of squatters were in the way of the car. Ooshi, sufficiently annoyed, laid into the horn. But there was no indication that they were moving anytime soon. Well, if all else fails, you both can get out of the car and challenge them to a kung fu match. In this den, could they not even hear a car horn? Or did they hear it and were being malicious? Probably the latter. If there were any riot police nearby, would they have made people move? Sorry, if there were any riot police nearby, they would have made people move. But it just so happened there weren't any around here.
もう。
Jeez.
ちょいと待っててください。
Wait just a minute. Ooshi opened up the door. The hot air and even more heated roar of the crowd spilled into the car. Ooshi said something as he grinned widely, but I couldn't hear what it was. He was getting them to move. Something like that? Ooshi stepped out of the car and closed the door. It then faded slightly. I stared blankly as Ooshi headed towards the group and started some sort of conversation. Maybe we'd find the minister's grandson at Takatsudo. At the very least, I wanted to find him there. Find him and slip up the cursed bonds of this incomprehensible village. I could only pray. At that moment, a shadow was suddenly cast over me. Somebody was standing right outside the passenger side window, blocking the sunlight. I spun around, looked up, and realized who the backlit figure was. And who is it? Oh! Hi, Rika. Fancy running into you here. Huh. It was a girl. It was Rika Furud. The girl stared down at me with a bored look in her eyes. I didn't have any justification for it, but I felt like I had been found by somebody that I shouldn't be found by. Probably. To fill the silence, I raised my hands as I mouthed a meek greeting. Of course, there was no way she heard my small voice in this clamor. But even then, she should have seen me wave my hand in greeting. In spite of that, she simply stared down at me with a cold look on her face. At that moment, the noise and heat spread throughout the car once again. Ooshi had returned to the driver's seat. Taking a look, the group that were blocking the road had started to move aside while glaring our way. Sorry to keep you waiting. Shall we go? Ooshi registered the figure of the girl behind me. One of the villagers came over and picked her up. In the manner of, it's dangerous, so get away. It was then that she whispered one or two words. However, I couldn't hear any of it. I bet I know what they are. You fool. Or something to that effect. Well then, let's go. I'm going to gun it, okay? But of course, still within the speed limit. As if to shake off the still audible angry voices, Ooshi floored the gas. Along with the roar and the din and the shouting, the villagers and the girl quickly disappeared behind us. As soon as we're through here, we're in Takatsudo. Are you okay if we end up getting into a firefight? Don't be fumbling with the safety at the last moment, you hear? Ooshi laughed mockingly again. I was more concerned with what the girl had said, however, as I was vaguely bothered by it. What was she trying to say with that apathetic and candid expression? Suppose it's normal if you're nervous from here on out. But if you don't deal with it, there's a chance you might do something rash. But there was no longer a way to confirm what the girl had tried to tell me. It might have been that the girl who warned me to go back to Tokyo again. Or else. Was she saying to me who was here now, ignoring that warning?
警告したのに、バカなやつ。
Even though I warned you. What a fool. I had the feeling she said something like that. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not wrong. If you were to call Hinamizawa a rather lonely village, then Takatsuta was outright desolate. For your everyday city boy like me, I just couldn't understand why anybody would force themselves to live here. There were signs that people had, but they were all covered in dust or enveloped in ivy, indicating that it was all abandoned.
こんなところにも人は住んでいたんですね。
People really lived in a place like this, didn't they?
まあ、昔の話でしょうな。
Well, it was a long time ago.
こんな偏僻なとこじゃ、年寄りには辛いですし。
A remote place like this is pretty rough for old folk to live.
若者だって、もう少しまともな土地に住みたいでしょうしね。
And younger people probably wanted to try living in a more suitable place.
後を継ぐ者がいなきゃ、最後にはこうなるってことでしょうな。
If there's nobody left to take the reins, all that gets left is this. Even if I had no personal attachment to the village, seeing the disused buildings made me feel a little sentimental. It seemed that Ooshi also felt the same way.
こんなところで財布が発見されたんですか？
Was the wallet found over here?
財布の取得者もよくこんなに偏僻なところに通りかかったものですね。
The person who found it must have a good reason to come out to this desolate place.
ああ、村人には山の中に畑を持ってる連中がいましてね。
Yeah, there's some villagers who have a field out in the mountains here.
そういう連中は朝晩ここを通りますから。
They pass by here in the morning and evenings. I guess that explains that mystery of who found the wallet, or rather why they were there.
畑仕事の村人たちは早朝や夕方にここを徒歩で通ると。
The villagers who work in the fields walk by here every day?
まさか。
No way.
行けるところまでは車で行くでしょうな。
They probably go as far as they can by car.
早朝や夕方にこんなところを走行して落ちているたった一つの財布を発見できます。
So in the early mornings and evenings, they pass by here and just happen to find a single wallet.
できたんでしょうな。
They probably did.
取得者はどこで取得したと言っていますか？
Where exactly did they say they found it?
もう少し先を行ったところにある茂みです。
In a thicket just a bit further ahead.
取得者はたまたまお腹が痛くなってちょいと茂みで用を足そうと思ったらしい。
The person who found the wallet just happened to have some stomach cramps and was planning to use the thicket to do his business, it seems.
それで偶然見つけたらしいんですよ。
It was there he happened to find it.
中にちり紙でも入ってるのを期待したんですかね。
Probably hoping there was some toilet paper in there. Who would keep toilet paper in their wallet?
話ができすぎているように感じます。
Everything about that story just seems a little too convenient.
財布発見の当初からそういう違和感が拭えません。
Right from the discovery of the wallet, I just can't shake the feeling that something's off. If I'm being honest, yeah, I do kind of agree with you. That this honestly does seem rather very convenient. I expressed the feeling that I had from the start of the day quite frankly. It seemed too good to be true, but it was unwavering proof. But it was too perfect. Sickeningly so. That was my feeling.
できすぎってな、案外当たってるかもしれませんよ。
You might actually be onto something by saying it's all a little too perfect.
というと、
Meaning?
実は4課のお友達からちょいと聞いたんですがね。
The truth is, I heard a little something from a friend of mine in the 4th Division.
園崎お涼が大臣の孫の誘拐事件について言及したって話なんです。
where Uryu Sonozaki referenced the kidnapping of the minister's grandson.
言及した
She referenced it?
大臣の孫ももう誘拐されてから何日にもなってかわいそうだ。
It's been several days since the minister's grandson has been kidnapped. Poor boy.
そろそろ解放されるといいな。
It'd be nice if they let him go soon.
そう、お寮のばあさんが縁側でぼそりとつぶやいたってな話らしいんです。
It seemed that old Oryu muttered something like that while on her veranda.
で、そのぼそりが園崎家の裏の裏のあちこちに伝えられてるようです。
And that little musing was conveyed to the various people working deep behind the scenes of the Sonozaki family. Wait a minute. I think that musing was said in that one little tip, wasn't it? Who was there with Mion and Oryu? I think a couple servants were. Right. I heard something earlier from Sato-san, the informant, that when the leader Uryu had a concern, somebody in the family would be considerate.
つまりそれは実質上の人質解放命令ですか
So, in essence, she gave the order to release the hostage.
私はそう見てます。
I see it that way.
この出来すぎの財布発見は孫を警察に引き渡すためのイベントじゃないかと。
The wallet being conveniently discovered was just a ploy to hand the boy over to the police.
どうして人質の解放を
Why would they release the hostage?
そりゃ人質を解放するなんて理由は一つしかないじゃないですか。
Well, there's only one reason why somebody would release a hostage, isn't there? Well, maybe it's because the demands of the kidnappers have been met.
なんです
What is it?
取引の成立ですよ。
They reached a deal.
南沢ダム計画の中止を大臣が約束ってことですかね。
That would mean the minister promised to halt the Hinamizawa Dam project.
ダム計画なんて必ずなくなっちゃいますのです。
The dam project will definitely go away. At that moment, those words that the girl had said resurfaced in the back of my mind. In the end, it was turning out exactly as she had proclaimed. That young girl knew the circumstances. She knew everything about this kidnapping incident, from the beginning to the end.
Akasaka?
But how would she actually... Oh, never mind. Akasaka. The girl unexpectedly called my name.
なんだい
What is it?
東京へ帰れ。
Go back to Tokyo. Huh?
あなたはもう幾ばくもしないうちに
Before long,
この村に来たことをひどく後悔することになる。
before long, you will woefully regret coming to this village.
それがあまりにもみすぼらしくて気の毒な姿だから。
That'd be an incredibly pathetic thing to see.
今のうちから警告してあげているのです。
So I thought I'd warn you right now.
どうして私が後悔することになる
Why
と
would I come to regret it?
いちいちうるさいな。
Stop whining.
あなたの親はあなたが赤信号の横断歩道の真ん中にいるとき
When you tried crossing the road when the don't walk sign was up.
どうして危ないのかを全部説明し終えるまであなたの手を引っ張らないの？
Did your parents finish explaining why it was dangerous before pulling you back to the sidewalk?
引っ張るでしょ。
They'd pull you back right away, wouldn't they?
まず歩道まで連れ戻してから
They'd
な
pull,
ぜ危険なのかを解くでしょ。
they'd pull you back before explaining why it was dangerous, wouldn't they?
つまりはそういうこと。
In other words, it's something like that. The girl, who knew everything from start to finish, had warned me in the beginning. Go back to Tokyo.
赤坂の怖がり。
Akasaka is such a coward.
孫は無事見つかるでしょうが、その後はいろいろと厄介な問題になるでしょうな。
We'll probably find the boy. But what happens afterward would probably be a bit of a problem.
どう厄介になるかは一警察官の私には想像もつきませんがね。
How it'll be a problem, though, is something a single officer like me can't figure out.
フルでリカって少女
Do you know
ご存知ですか？
a girl named Rika Farud? What I had said was such a non sequitur that Ooshi sat in stunned silence for a while.
もちろん知ってますよ。
Of course I know her.
御三家の一つ、フルデ家の一人娘ですね。
She's the only daughter of the Farud family, one of the 3 families.
どういう少女なんです？
What kind of girl is she?
おやおや、
Well, well.
これは意外な人物名にちょっと驚きです。
This is an unexpected name to hear. I'm a bit surprised.
公安ではフルデ家が臭いと睨んでおられるわけで。
Does public safety think that the Farud family smells fishy? Must they keep an eye on them?
私にも情報を分けてくださいよ。
Share some of that information with me, please.
あ、いや、そういうのじゃないんです。
No, it's not like that.
ちょっと気になったもので。
It's just something that caught my attention.
まあいいや。
Well, whatever.
同じ卓を囲んだ友人の質問なら答えないわけにはいきませんからね。
It wouldn't do to not answer a question from a friend I've sat at the same table with.
友人と呼んでいただけて光栄です。
I'm honored that you call me a friend.
で、あのお嬢ちゃんはね。
So,
まあ、村のマスコットみたいなもんです。
that little lady is, well, somewhat of a village mascot.
村中の誰からも愛されてます。
She's beloved by everybody in the village.
中でも年寄り連中には特に崇められてましてね。
Some of the older folk worship her especially.
崇められる。
Worship?
よくは知らないんですがね。
I don't know much about it, you see.
フルデ家に生まれた女の子ってのには多少神聖な意味合いがあるらしいんですよ。
Girls born in the Farud family have somewhat of a sacred implication, it seems.
hinamizawaの土着信仰ですがね。
It's one of the local beliefs in Hinamizawa.
お社様の生まれ変わりだとかなんとか、そんな話があるらしいですよ。
The living incarnation of Orishiro-sama or something like that. Or so the story goes, apparently.
お社様。
Orishiro-sama.
そういえば、同盟の登り旗の中に、お社様と書かれたものがあったような気がします。
Now that you mention it, I think I saw Orishiro-sama written on some of the Alliance's banners.
何ですか？お社様って。
What is Orishiro-sama exactly?
ああ、hinamizawaの守り神様の名前です。
It's the name of the guardian deity of Hinamizawa.
村にあだなす者に罰を当てるって信じられてましてね。
They believe it'll exact punishment on those who will do ill towards the village.
まあ、そんな便利な神様がいたら、ダムの連中はとっくに神罰にやられているんでしょうが。
Well, if there was such a convenient god around, the guys at the dam would have long since been done in by divine justice. I don't know, Ooshi. If there really is a divine god in this region, I wouldn't be so quick to just dismiss it just because it's taken its dear sweet time to enact its vengeance.
幸い、今日までその罰ってやつは一つも起こってませんがね。
I mean, even gods can play the long game. Luckily, nothing like that has happened to anybody just yet.
村にあだなす大臣の孫が、お社様の怒りに触れ。なんて言いましたっけ？
The grandson of the minister who trifled with the village, as a result of Orishiro-sama's anger was... What did they call it again?
そう。鬼隠し。
Oh, right. Onikakushi.
大臣の孫を鬼隠しにしたと。
The minister's grandson was demoned away.
そういう筋書きになるわけでしょうか。
Now, it'd probably be how the script is being written.
なるほどな。
I see.
そういうことになるんでしょうな。
It probably would turn to something like that.
お社様が下した神罰。
Divine punishment wrought by Orishiro-sama.
なら犯人は親代様の生まれ変わりであるあの少女。
Then the culprit is the living incarnation of Orishiro-sama. That girl? Well, there's a plot twist. Turns out that Rika is the mastermind behind all the shenanigans in the previous 3 chapters, all the way up till this point. She's the mastermind. I'm kidding, of course. Even though I don't really know for sure what to think about that. Even I didn't know exactly what I was saying. The fact that Ooshi laughed it off was a bit of a relief. Ooshi's joyous laughter was so infectious that I began to laugh like an idiot as well.
ありゃ。
Oh,
こりゃ珍しい。
this is unusual. I'm used to unusual things being unusual in this unusual little village that is unusually named after ogres and demons. Unusual is this place's lifeblood. So would that actually make it usual? Ooshi, after laying into the horn several times, rolled the window down and leaned out, waving his arm in an exaggerated manner. It was a car headed the opposite way. Until now, we hadn't run into any other cars except our own. I bet it's the kidnappers. Or the doctor. Or the kidnapper and the doctors and the doctor. And the boy's probably in the trunk. And of all places, it was this desolate location. It seemed that Ooshi knew the owner of that car. The other car also chirped its horn and came to a stop.
Irieno sensei!
Dr. Irie! I knew it.
Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon. The other car's window rolled down slowly, revealing a young man in a white overcoat. He was about my age, or perhaps a bit older. But you really can't judge somebody by their appearance.
Ooshi-san じゃありませんか。
Why, if it isn't Ooshi-san?
こんにちは。
Good afternoon.
珍しいところでお会いしますね。
Fancy meeting you here.
そりゃこっちのセリフですよ、先生。
That's my line, Doctor.
まさかこんなところで会うとはね。I
never thought I'd see you here.
どうしたんです？
What happened?
いえね、ちょっとした往診です。
Oh, nothing. Just a little house call.
ありゃ、そうですか。
Oh, really?
休館とかでしたか？
Was it an emergency?
いえ、そんなに大したことではありませんでした。
No. Nothing quite that serious.
よかったですよ。
Thankfully.
お医者の世話にならずに済むなら、それに越したことはないです。
It's always for the best when the patient gets better without the need of medical care.
ではこれで。
I'll take my leave here.
急いで戻らないと、スタッフに怒られますんで。
If I don't get back quickly, my staff will be angry with me.
診療所長さんも大変です。
Being the head of a clinic must be tough.
ではでは、お気をつけて。
Well then, take care. The young doctor named Irie, after gesturing his farewell, drove forwards and soon disappeared around a corner. Ooshi also drove forwards, but soon came to a stop again. He pulled out a worn map book from the dash. His expression didn't have an ounce of irreverence. He was perfectly serious.
どうしたんです？
What is it?
今日は診療所は往診の日じゃないはずです。
The clinic should be making any house calls today.
よっぽどの休館か、特殊な事情のある患者ということになりますね。
It must have been quite an emergency, or otherwise a patient with some extenuating circumstances. Ooshi flipped through the pages, opening up the map of Takatsudo. After that, he took a look around and started to figure out what our current location was.
その急患が怪しいということですか？
Are you saying that emergency is suspicious?
言ったでし
Undoubtedly
ょ
so. Didn't I say?
高津戸地区にね、住んでる人なんてほとんどいないんですよ。
There's hardly anybody that lives in the Takatsudo area.
今私たちがいる道はここ。
The road we're on right now is here.
入江先生はこの道に対して
Dr. Irie
こっ
came
ちの
from
方
this
向から走
direction.
ってきたと。
Having no sense of our surroundings, I couldn't digest anything about the place he was indicating on the map.
私たちは財布の取得場所を目指しています。
We're heading towards the spot where the wallet was found.
ちなみに取得場所はここ。
By the way, that's over here.
でもね、
But see,
高津戸地区にわずかにある民家に向かうには、そもそも道が違うんです。
if you're headed to one of the few residences in Takatsudo, it's the wrong road.
つまり入江医師は民家のない方角から来たと。
Meaning, Dr. Irie came from a direction where there are no residents.
山間の段々畑で農作業中に誰かが倒れたってのでない限りね。
As long as somebody working in the fields between these mountains didn't collapse.
人が倒れて医者が呼ばれたら、普通は連れ帰って詳しく調べるもんです。
But if somebody collapses and you call a doctor, normally you'd bring them back with you for more detailed examination.
でもさっき理恵医師は大したことはなかったと言いましたね。
But just now, Dr. Irie said it was nothing serious.
車には他には誰も乗っていなかったようですし。
It didn't seem like anybody else was in the car with him. Ooshi didn't say any more than that. I also said nothing more. That doctor just now examined a patient. Close by. Only that. The noisy radio had suddenly gone quiet. The sky had just as suddenly turned an oppressive color. As Ooshi mused that it might start to rain, a torrential downpour started, as though trying not to disappoint him. Well now, sudden rain shower. That definitely isn't a good sign. Eventually, Ooshi stopped the car. The only sounds to break the silence were I'm getting tongue twisted. Were the percussion, there we go, of the rain on the roof and the soft squeak of the windshield wipers.
ちょいと静か静かで行きましょうかね。
Let's do this a bit hush-hush, shall we? Why are we whispering? It's not like anybody that is close to the vehicle could hear us in this rain. The rain is not quiet. Saying that in a quiet voice, he exited the car without an umbrella, careful not to make any noise. Ooshi leaned over, indicating the other side of the thicket. He was pointing to a prefabricated shed and a car that was parked beside it. It must be them. Or it could be a decoy. The car looked obviously well cared for. It wasn't a vehicle that had been left there for several years.
あの小屋は
What's that shed?
営林署の機材小屋です。
It contains equipment used by the forestry service.
夏場以外は利用されてないと聞きました。
I heard that they don't go near it except during the summertime.
あの車は営林署の職員。
Does that car belong to somebody from the forestry service then?
さあね。
Don't know.
公用車には見えないですね。
It doesn't look like an official vehicle, though. Ooshi was playing it cool, but my nervousness was gradually increasing.
一応は念のため。
Just in case. Saying that, Ooshi returned to the car. I thought he was going to get an umbrella, but he had grabbed the onboard radio instead.
もしもし、大石です。
Hello, this is Ooshi, checking to see if they'll respond on the radio.
聞こえてるかな？
Do you read?
こんにちは、こんにちは。
Greetings, greetings.
はい、Okinomiya PS。
Yes, this is the Okinomiya PS.
大石さん、感度良好です。どうぞ。
Ooshi-san, we read you loud and clear, over.
今、高津戸地区の営林省機材小屋前です。
I'm currently in front of the Forestry Services equipment shed.
矢口に向かう方じゃないよ。Hinamizawaから高津戸に入る方の。
Not the one in the direction of Yaguchi. The one in Takatsudo, if you head there from Hinamizawa.
はい、確認しました。
Affirmative. Copy that.
小屋に不審者。
There are some suspicious people in the shed.
これより職質します。
Proceeding to investigate.
5分で連絡なかったら駐在所に連絡と大至急応援パトをください。
So you're actually making sure people know where you are in case something happens. If you don't hear back from me in 5 minutes, get in touch with the local police substation and have them send a cruiser as soon as possible.
よろしくお願いします。
If you would, please.
了解しました。
Understood.
じゃあ、行ってみましょうかね。
Well then, shall we go take a look? You really do love laughing. You ever considered actually just being a rodeo clown? Since he was first confined here, he had heard the sound of a car multiple times. So he just thought the far-off sound was more of the same. However, the reaction from his captors was, until now, something he hadn't seen before. Well, color me surprised. I thought they would have been gone by now. They jumped, reacting as if shocked by a jolt of electricity, and pressed against the window, cautiously peering outside.
止まったな。
They stopped.
営林署の人間。
Somebody in from the Forestry Service?
まずいぜ。
This is bad.
いや、警察やんな。
Nah. Looks like a cop to me. One of the captors lifted the boy by his collar and pressed a blade against his cheek.
お兄ちゃん、ちょい静かにしててな。
Hey, kid. Keep quiet for a bit.
分かってると思うけど、大声出したりすると大変なことになるからな。
I think you know this, but if you try and shout, there'll be problems. Toshiki Inugai was sure that the doctor had reported things to the police. He had felt relief when he thought he was being saved, but not imagining that his captors would resort to violence when they were cornered. His anxiety remained unabated.
どうする？
What do we do?
時間稼いでる。
Gotta buy time.
小僧連れて、ちょい裏から抜けな。
Take the kid and slip out of the back.
ほとぼり冷めたら落ち合おう。
We'll meet back here when the heat's off. One of the perpetrators grabbed the boy by the collar and forced him to stand. Now, if you're smart guys, Ooshi and Akasaka, one of you will go around the back, just in case. Of course, Toshiki Inugai tried to resist by feigning that his illness had been aggravated by this rough treatment, but his captors paid no heed. Bang, bang, bang. The door was violently banged upon.
ごめんください。
Excuse me!
こんにちは。
Hello! Bang, 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 bang! The door was banged on again. Toshiki Inugai hesitated for a moment to respond to that voice by yelling. However, while he was being indecisive, his mouth was covered, taking an option away from him. The leader of the captors waved at the other to go. The younger perpetrator nodded in response, and while keeping the boy's mouth covered, started heading towards the back door.
はいはい。何かご用かいね。
Hello, you need something?
どうも。
How do you do?
警察ですがね。ここちょっと開けてもらっていいですか。
This is the police. Would you mind opening the door?
急な雨で困っちゃいましてね。
The sudden rain has us in a bit of trouble.
ええ。今開けますん。
I'll just open. The moment the lock was undone, Ooshi forced the door open. Say your prayers. And with a gleam of menace in his eyes, He pushed the man aside as he stepped into the room. Then, in a small and empty room, he was able to quickly discern that the boy he was looking for was nowhere to be seen.
あれ？私はここは営林署の機材倉庫だって聞いてたんですけどね。
I heard this was an equipment shed for the forestry service.
何にもありませんね。
But there's nothing here at all. There was nothing inside the room that would indicate this was an equipment shed. There was only a mountain of blankets, indicating that somebody was sleeping here, alongside empty food packets strewn about.
ああ、ここはずいぶん前から空っぽさね。
It's been empty for some time now.
機材がしまってあるところなんて見たこともねえわ。
Never seen no equipment stored around here.
でも営林署の建物でしょ？
But this is the forestry services building, isn't it?
あんた営林署の人？
Are you from the forestry service?
あんたこそ誰よ？警察？
How about ya? Police? You didn't answer his question, Mr. Service Guy. The two of them glared at each other suspiciously. Both Ooshi and the man steadfastly refused to reveal their identity before the other did. The man, judging from the sharp look in Ooshi's eyes, realized that it would be hard to talk his way out of this one. No matter what he said, the most time he could buy would probably be only a few dozen seconds. Only the sound of rain filled this tense moment. Just then, they heard the sound of a struggle from far off. "That-a boy, Asaka! You took my advice and went out back!" Ooshi had a hunch. There was no doubt that Akasaka, who was circling around back, had run into the perpetrators who were trying to slip away. As Ooshi thought that, the man in front of him reacted a moment faster. The man swung with an attack that was more intended to obscure Ooshi's vision rather than actually hit him in the face. Seeing this as not his opportunity, the man aimed to kick at Ooshi's groin without any hesitation. "Not in the nards, man!" But he missed his mark and was unable to land that critical blow. The man, trying to pin Ooshi, grabbed him by the base of his neck with both hands and fiercely tried to push him down. But, as Ooshi fell backwards, as if kicking the man upward, he dug his foot into the man's midsection. With that leg acting as a fulcrum, the man was flung by the falling Ooshi as if by a circle throw. The two of them squared off in the pouring rain.
面白いじゃないの。
Isn't this interesting?
俺とやろうってか？
You wanna go?
ね。
Ooshi, I didn't know you were a blood knight. Ooshi, as if trying to cheer himself on, grinned smugly. He then stood up while brushing the mud off himself. Even though he countered the assault, Ooshi was getting up rather awkwardly compared to the man who he threw, who swiftly sprang to his feet.
Oi-san!
Ooshi-san!
Hayaku!
Hurry! Ooshi's voice rang out from the distance. Judging from the distress in his voice, he was already engaged in a fight and wanted Ooshi to reconvene with him. But Ooshi's hands were full as well.
Akasaka-san!
Akasaka-san!
申し訳ない。ちょっと待っててくださいよ。
Sorry, but can you wait a bit? The man raised both fists into a stance that hinted at him being acquainted with karate or some other form of martial art. Yeah, well, I can make combat stances too, son. Of course, Ooshi, who as an officer of the law, was decently versed in judo. They teach officers in Japan judo? If that's the case, then that's kind of cool. He also had the moxie to have been through his fair share of fights before. Despite, because of that, you could tell that the man in front of him was quite a bit better at fighting than he was. Damn it! Thinking this was going to be easy just because the order came from the Sonozaki family to release the hostage had been a big mistake.
You're
pretty good. It's been a while since I got this worked up. Can I get some CG artwork of these two throwing punches and kicks? That'd be pretty sweet. I'd like to see Ooshi perform some judo for me. Ooshi played off the situation like it was no sweat. His opponent, seeing his attitude, took that to mean that Ooshi wasn't going to go down easily. The man wildly charged forward, attempting to grab Ooshi. The man managed a successful clinch from his low stance. Ooshi would be tackled to the ground and end up being mounted. It was something you saw often when children fought, but it really was a bad position, since you couldn't do much once you were in it. Ooshi, responding to that move, also lowered his stance to collide with the man head-on. The moment they clashed, Ooshi grabbed the man's lapel. As he yanked the lapel upwards, he smashed into the man's solar plexus with the elbow of the same arm. It was a move from Ooshi's own personal brand of brawling judo. He then grabbed on his free hand and attempted to throw his opponent with both hands. But the man lowered his center of gravity and swung his arms in a large arc, entwining them with Ooshi's. Not only that, but he had forced both of Ooshi's elbows to the outside, and Ooshi, now in an awkward position, was in danger of exposing his back with his hand still clutching the man's chest. This guy practiced Aikido or grappling, didn't he? Ooshi, cursing the fact that his fingers were twisted into the man's shirt and couldn't get away, released his grip. But he was still in the awkward position of being bent over. And to top it off, at zero range, the man was able to read Ooshi's movements completely as he tried to squirm his way into a better position. And then took the palms of his hands and swiftly clapped him over both of Ooshi's ears.
That's...
Clapping the ears in any other martial art, except for self-defense, was basically forbidden. Karate and Judo didn't recognize it as a legal technique. Yeah, well, to be fair, the situation that we're dealing with right now isn't exactly being done in legal means, now is it? What, with kidnapping and all that? That's not legal, you know. So, why should we fight legally? They started the illegal shit, I say we should finish it with illegal shit. It was that much of a simple and dangerous attack. Ooshi raised both his hands as he tried to reflexively clutch at his own ears. But before that could happen, the man wrapped his arms around Ooshi's neck. His thick biceps clenched firmly around the base of Ooshi's neck like a vice. Ooshi instinctively thought he was going to be killed. Fight dirty, man! It's for all you. It's life or death. After all, it wasn't hard to believe that a man like this, who was accustomed to fighting, could crush his opponent's neck from this position. But his opponent didn't do that. He had chosen to keep his hold and force Ooshi to lose consciousness. That's why Ooshi, at that moment, when his face was twitching, was grinning widely. Even though his opponent had a chance to kill him, he didn't choose to. He was thinking, this guy has no intention of killing me. However, even though that might be the case, the man's hold on his neck was by no means gentle. In no time at all, Ooshi's consciousness began to fade. Having the experience of being thrown down countless times in judo during his student days, Ooshi was already resigned to the fact that it was over. God damn it, man, you should have twisted his dick or something. Akasaka was finally recovering from the intense pain of being kicked in a rather sensitive area. Well, you might want to brace yourself, man, because you're probably going to be fighting a two-front battle here very soon. He had bumped into the captor carrying the boy by the back entrance. He had seen Toshiki Inugai's picture plenty of times, but wasn't able to immediately ascertain if the boy in front of him was the real deal, with his mouth covered in packing tape. Also, of his limited experience, it wasn't hard for him to panic over how to deal with the situation. Of course, the perpetrator didn't overlook this momentary lapse. His kick landed squarely in a critical spot, with Akasaka not even having time to call for help. As the man flung the boy over his shoulder, he headed towards the front of the shed. But upon hearing Ooshi's bellowing voice, he gave up on going in that direction. He then dashed off towards the forest, as if the weight of the boy slung over his shoulder wasn't even there. Akasaka was lost for a moment. Meeting up with Ooshi, who was fighting with the enemy, was by far the safer option. But he couldn't just lose sight of the fleeing man. Akasaka stood up and chased after the captor's back. He ran through a short thicket, branches and fallen leaves crunching underfoot. The tips of branches raked and clawed at him, small scratches inscribing themselves on his body one after the other. He kept on stepping into puddles and mud, and his shoes were soon filled with murky water. For Akasaka, traveling through this unexplored forest was, even though this was an emergency situation, extremely unpleasant. Pull out your gun and shoot! Just aim for his legs so you don't hit the kid. Stop! This is the police! As he said that, he regretted it immediately, but it was a waste of breath. There wasn't a thief in the world that would politely stop when told to by the police. To a city boy like Akasaka, running through this forest was an arduous task. However, it must have been no easy task either for the man carrying the minister's grandson. He neither gained nor lost ground in his pursuit. Akasaka, upon realizing that, gained back a bit of composure. Just keep on chasing them. We are running in the same conditions. In fact, the man running with an awkward stride was at far more of a disadvantage. They couldn't run forever. Eventually, he'd definitely trip and fall. As long as he was being hounded, he would definitely stumble. And soon, his wish was fulfilled. The man, who had stepped on something and lost his balance, was no longer able to bear the weight of the boy, dropping him. Akasaka, in all honesty, didn't care about the perpetrator at all. You should care at least a little, just in case he decides to fight. Just as long as you could ensure the safety of Toshiki Inugai. So if the perpetrator ran off by himself, it was perfectly acceptable. But it seems that Toshiki Inugai was important to the man as well, and didn't choose to just run away empty-handed. Akasaka didn't know what to do in this situation. Pull out the gun! His first priority should be to ensure the safety of the boy, subduing his captor being less important. Grappling the perpetrator wasn't something he planned on, but most likely, it was either do or die. Akasaka's moment of indecision proved to be fatal. The man, right between, or rather, for both of Akasaka's eyes, struck out the jab. Not wanting that, Akasaka raised both his hands to shield his face. At that moment, the man kicked his unguarded midsection. The pain almost felt like his vital organs were being squeezed out of his body, but he latched onto his opponent's leg. But his opponent didn't hesitate one bit. Leading with his seized foot, the man jumped at Akasaka, applying pressure and pushing him down. Akasaka was unable to withstand that and fell, but under no circumstances was he letting that leg go. The two men fell together in a tangled heap. The man was desperate to pull his leg free from Akasaka, but having fallen in an awkward position, was unable to. This looks familiar. This looks an awful lot like that pathway leading to that underground tunnel, those underground tunnels on the Sonozaki property. The two of them rolled around on the ground, floundering about trying to gain an advantage. But Akasaka, who was holding onto his opponent's knee with both hands, and that opponent, who had complete freedom to move his upper body, were in two completely different situations. The man gained a positional advantage on Akasaka, who was still latched onto his leg and couldn't move away, and pounded full force on his head with both his fists. Not only that, he found a rock nearby and beat it against Akasaka's skull. Ow! The difference between being hit with a fist and being hit with a rock was vast. Akasaka quickly thought of letting go of the man's leg to free his hand to protect his head. You really should. You only get one brain in life, man. But if you were to let go here, the man would get away. It's not worth the brain damage. If he didn't dig in here, everything would be for naught. The boy he was trying to save was right there. He was going to save him and go back to Tokyo. If he could do that, then it was goodbye to this freakish village. Without looking, I could tell my forehead had split open and was gushing blood. But I didn't let go of the man's leg. How could I? I won't let go! When the man realized that no matter how much he beat my head, he wasn't getting away, he used both his hands to grab my throat as if to crush my windpipe. I pulled my head back as a slight form of resistance, but it was of no use. The man's hands enveloped my neck and began to crush it like a vice. Bite his fingers! It was, well, then again you won't be able to. Bite his wrists! It was less about the pain of not being able to breathe, so much as it was choking so hard it felt like I was going to throw up. It felt like my stomach was going to turn itself inside out. But I can only endure it. Damn it! My throat hurts. I won't let go. I can't let go. I didn't want to be here. I wanted to resolve this and go back to Tokyo. Go back to Tokyo and talk to Yuki all about our unborn child. We were going to talk about our bright future. I have no intention of loosening my grip. However, it loosened just a bit, and the man's leg came free. The man kicked as hard as possible, and I tumbled backwards. Well, you tried, man. My head was spinning, and I was unable to get up right away. No, I couldn't even put any strength into getting up in the first place. Even so, I couldn't back down. If I let him escape now, this chance would never come again. Even just catching their scent was nothing short of a miracle. If we weren't able to get the minister's grandson back here, there wouldn't be another chance. The man tried to drag the boy to his feet, but the kid was displaying some unexpected resistance, allowing me to get up unnoticed. I grasped the rock the man had just beaten me over the head with. Now, it's my turn. The rock should be able to supplement what meager strength I had left, adding more than enough power to my attack. My fist, still wrapped around the rock, dug into the side of the man's torso. It seemed like it hurt him quite a bit. The man rolled around for a bit, clutching his side. Freed from the man's grip, the boy hid behind me.
Inugai Toshiki-kun da ne.
Toshiki Inugai, right?
Kimi wo tasukere ni kita.
I've come to help you. To the boy, those were the words he was waiting for the most. But the crisis was still not over. That was because even though he was still clutching at his side, the man had gotten up again and taken a fighting stance. I could see in the man's eyes a resentment at the pain I had caused him, and the confidence that he could still beat me. If we were to clash head-on again, he might not even stop if my head were split open. Stop resisting! Surrender quietly! You should just hand the boy over! You want me to snap your neck? Who would listen to you now? Reinforcements are already on their way. There's nowhere for you to run! The man reacted adversely to the word reinforcements. That was because he now knew that arguing like this wasn't just a waste of time, but put him closer and closer to danger. Realizing that, the man shifted mental gears almost too quickly. Let's finish this fast! How about this? What? The man pulled from his back pocket of all... The man pulled from his back pocket was, of all things, a gun! You better pull yours out, man! Of course, I'm a police officer. It's not like I didn't know what a gun is, but having one pointed at me was something I'd never experienced before. Was it real? Don't question it, just pull yours out and shoot! Of course it was. There was no way it'd be a replica in a situation like this. Put both your hands behind your head and lay down quietly. Don't get cocky, you villain. Villain. I won't do anything you say. You stupid idiot. Do you not know what this is without me shooting you with it? Shoot. Reinforcements will hear the gunshot and head right over here. Are you stupid? We're in the middle of the forest, and on top of that, it's raining. You'll never hear a thing. As long as he still held that gun, no matter how much I yelled at him, I was at a distinct disadvantage. But I still had a fighting chance. If I were in his shoes, instead of wasting time yelling at her like this, I would just shoot him and take the boy. And that is why he's being an absolute, and that's why he's an idiot. I would have done the exact same thing if I was in his shoes. That way was the fastest, and would suppress any sort of further resistance from him. But the man was demanding my surrender, without having fired a shot. Meaning that he either didn't want to shoot, or couldn't. In other words, the man in front of me was soft. So pull your gun out and shoot him! Don't take any chances. Take advantage of it and shoot! If I could buy even just a little more time, the factors that would lead to my victory were numerous. Ooshi was probably on his way, and the reinforcements we called for before coming here should already be well on their way too. Not only that, they should have contacted the local police. Without a doubt, somebody stationed in the village would be here much quicker than that. Damn it! Do I have to put a bullet in you to understand how dangerous this thing is? There's no escape. Don't add to your crimes. At that moment, I heard the rustling of foliage and heavy footsteps approaching. Probably the other kidnapper. If Ooshi was coming here, it was a whole new ball game. The man couldn't have more than one gun. Ooshi-san! Over here! Over here! Huh? I thought that time was on my side. But I had failed to even imagine that the enemy could also have reinforcements. You could tell that the man who had just appeared was one of the perpetrators just by looking at him. What are you doing? If you don't hurry up, the police will get here. Stop lollygagging. Damn it. What happened to Ooshi-san? That chubby fella? He's down for the count. Channel your unbridled rage in Akasaka and sprinkle in some Mahjong master sprinkles in there. If you do that, you will be unstoppable. You can probably just eat the bullet and it will add to your power. He is? Damn it. The boy, sensitive to the impending danger, curled up behind my back. How could this be? Damn it. Your buddy isn't coming. Serves you right. Shoes on the other foot now. As I buckle up against a large tree while still protecting the boy, the second man also pulled out a gun. We're fucked. We'll be saying this twice. Put your hands in your head and lie down. I refuse! Ooh. As I shouted in protest, blood erupted from my left shoulder. It took a few moments to register that I had been shot. Compared to the ones in movies and TV dramas, the first actual gunshot I heard was simple and mundane. In fact, the sound was more akin to the small fireworks I used to buy from the corner store as a kid. But there was no comparing the pain. It was a fear you only knew after you'd been shot. Sir? Are you okay? Are you okay? The boy, in his confusion, tugged at my clothes, agitating the wound even further. I wanted to put on a bold face and reassure him, but my voice was hoarse and had the opposite effect. I'm alright. I've already called for backup. There'll be a full squad here soon. It'll be quicker to put on through your head before the cops get here. The family said no needless killing, so I'm taking it easy on you. Don't mess with me, or I ain't holding back. This is bad. It was very, very bad. The second man was a completely different beast than the first. He had no signs of indecisiveness or mercy. If this man said he'd shoot, he'd shoot. He wasn't somebody that a man like me could buy time from. I really hate to admit it, but at that moment, the image of UK's smiling face crossed the back of my mind. I knew what that meant. I was warning myself not to throw my life away over a matter of pride. Of course I didn't want to die here. I was just starting a new life with Yukie, and I wanted to see the face of our soon-to-be-born child. Why should I risk my life for some minister's grandson when I was at such a critical juncture in my own life? Ugh. Damn it! Damn it! I need to stop rambling at myself. So what do I do now? Give up the boy and extend my own life? What a good idea. Everybody's life is precious. My own life was in danger. Nobody would blame me. Ugh. Damn it. It hurts. It hurts! If I'd known it would be this painful, I wouldn't have played the tough guy. My biggest miscalculation, though, was the sound of the gunshot. It was far quieter than I had imagined. If it was only that loud, it would be drowned out by the rain in the forest. It wasn't something that somebody far away could hear. Oh, I get another choice? Okay, so... the way I see it, your life is more important right now, and we are heavily outgunned. There could be a chance for an opportunity to present itself, and could allow us to turn the situation around in our favor, but it's a very slim chance. So, I'm just gonna plead for my life. Damn it! Wait, just wait! I don't want to die! And I don't want to kill you. As long as you understand. Don't shoot, okay? Don't shoot! I have a wife waiting for me at home. I don't want to die! I won't shoot as long as you don't yell or nothing. Just quietly put your hands on your head and lie down. Will you really? Will you really? You'll keep your promise, right? This is a promise between men. I will. It's a promise between men. Keep your promise. Keep it! I'm going to get down on the ground, okay? I'm getting down. I just realized something. I just proved to, Rika that, I'm a coward. Well, shit. I just proved her right. I'll keep my promise, so stop pointing that gun at me. You're still thinking of shooting me, aren't you? You want to shoot me, don't you? When I get down on the ground, you're just going to shoot me in the back of the head, aren't you? I won't. Fine. I'll put it away. I'll put the gun away. It's a promise between men. There. No problem now, right? Well, since you were kind enough to put your gun away from me, I agree. There's no problem at all. Now, Akasaka, pull yours out and shoot! Yeah, absolutely no complaints. Holy shit, never mind. We got Ooshi here to do it for us. Shoot them! Gah! It was over in a flash. The moment he lowered his gun, Ooshi didn't let his chance slip by. Ooshi had been assessing the situation for quite some time behind the two men. But since they had their guns trained on me, he didn't really have a chance to jump in. Seeing that look on Ushi's face, indicating that he wanted me to create an opening, I took on that role completely. Sure you did. Sure you fucking did, you liar. I was just trying to make sure that your wife didn't end up losing you. Ooshi forcefully lifted the arm that was holding the gun. He then took the gun from the man's hand in only an instant. The other man, who was a bit slow in grasping what was happening, pointed his gun at them. But with his ally grappling for Ooshi, he couldn't pull the trigger. That man was the other one. If that man was the one that was wrestling with Ooshi at the moment, he might have shot without hesitation. But this man wouldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot. Ooshi kicked the other man away, while aiming the stolen gun with his left hand, pulled it down. With guns akimbo, he was aiming at both men at the same time. I do believe that's checkmate. It was perfectly played. But heedless of the guns pointed at them, the men shouted, "Scram!" as they scattered away at full speed. It was over in an instant. The two running away without putting up a fight was honestly unexpected. Ooshi, quietly clicking his tongue in admonishment, slipped both guns into his pants pockets. Those guys know their stuff.
何をですか?
What do you mean?
逃げてる背中を警官は撃てませんからね。
An officer won't fire at somebody who's fleeing.
私も退職金が惜しいもんで。
I want to keep my pension here. They're criminals, though, so you gotta subdue them somehow, I would think. Ooshi and I grinned at each other. Just shoot their feet.
君が犬飼俊樹君?
Are you Toshiki Inugai?
犬飼検察大臣のお孫さん?
The grandson of the Minister of Construction, Inugai.
はい。
Yes.
これはでかい事件になるかな?
This is going to be a major incident.
どうせトカゲの尻尾切りになるんでしょうけどね。
We probably only cut the tail off the lizard, though. Ooshi smiled amusedly. The fact that the Onikafuji Defense Alliance, or rather the Sonozaki family behind them, was pulling the strings was apparent, but proving it wouldn't be easy. And with apologies to Ooshi, this incident was unlikely to go public. If this caused an uproar, it would obviously lead to the minister losing his office. With HQ having decided that doing so was the national interest, this would probably be cleaned up quietly. It might be a rough way of saying it, but this was born in the shadows, and was going to die in the shadows. Ooshi probably already understood the implications behind this incident.
とにかく非常線を張らせましょう。
For the time being, let's cordon off the area.
連中まだ一丁は拳銃を持ってるようですからね。
Since it seems that one of them still has a gun.
それから犬飼君を保護して赤坂さんはすぐに病院に行かないと。
After that, let's get Inugai-kun to safety and get you to the hospital. As the tension in the situation faded, the pain from the gunshot wound in my shoulder blossomed once again. My forehead was also stinging painfully, and had grown hot enough to start a fire. Thinking that the tension had caused me to sweat, I wiped my forehead, but what came off was a large amount of blood. I realized that my shirt had been stained bright crimson from the blood flowing from my head. I turned around. The boy was safe and sound. Without a doubt. There would probably be an investigation on the men who ran, but that was for another day. At this point in time, I could safely say we had cleared the major hurdle of securing the boy's safety. As soon as I recognized that, it felt like the lights in my head had been hit by a power failure. My knees buckled from underneath me, the ground there feeling as soft as a cloud. It didn't feel unpleasant, even as I was covered in the rain-soaked mud. Ooshi came closer, asking if I was okay, but somehow I couldn't tell. I turned off the switch to the last light in my head. You don't just turn off your switch in front of another guy like that. That's rude. The exhaustion enveloped me. Sleep. Something softer than any blanket wrapped around me. Tips unlocked. A very kind person. Well, looks like we did it. We got the kid back. Now I'm curious to know what's going to happen. Anyway, I think I'll just go ahead and view the tip. I mean, it's just the one. And then I'll cut things off here. Patients admitted to the hospital can only accept calls at fixed times. That's why she wouldn't be receiving a call from him today. Yesterday, she had teased him that he got lonely easily, so he might have struggled with the idea of calling her sooner. That was much easier to imagine, rather than he might just be too busy to call. Because he's just that type of person. Yukie, whispering that, smiled to herself. The announcement that visiting hours were over played over the hospital intercom along with some music. She exchanged pleasantries with the family of the patient that was staying in the same room as her. Probably eager for his mother to be discharged, their small child was wearing a beaming smile. That child's mother was pregnant in the bed next to mine with what may be their new brother or sister. They were probably ready to burst with the expectations, dreams, and worries of having a new sibling. The joys of a growing family. Bathing in those warm feelings, I stroked my own belly, which had grown quite large. I talked with him about how many children we wanted to have. We had talked about how if we had 3, it would certainly be lively. However, there was the inescapable worry whether I'd be able to handle giving birth that many times.
でもそんなことを不安に思って出産を嫌う母なんていないですものね。
There isn't a mother out there who would hate to give birth because of that worry, though. Yukie, smiling as she said that to herself, gently stroked her stomach. The Metropolitan Public Safety Division. The place where that man's sense of justice had led him. That person was actually a very gentle, very fragile person. He didn't talk much about the specifics, but I didn't think he was suited for the assignment he was on right now. But as long as he was going to try his best, I would watch over him warmly.
あなたのお父さんはね、とっても頑張り屋さんなのよ。くちょこちょこちょこちょ。
Your father, you see, is a very hard worker, you know. Kuchi kuchi ku. Yukie seemed to be enjoying herself as she talked to her own belly. At that moment, Yukie suddenly became concerned about something and looked out the window. It used to be this time. Long ago. She remembered that when she was little, around this time, in the countryside where her grandmother lived, the Higurashi would fill the air with their chorus. This was the middle of Tokyo. Unlike in the countryside, you couldn't hear the song of the Higurashi. But for some reason, at that moment, Yukie felt that she wanted to hear that song. Should I be concerned that she's getting a feeling like that? I hope not. Well, all things considered, save for the fact that I most likely proved Rika right about Akasaka being a coward here, I'd say things worked out pretty well for Akasaka and Ooshi here. So, congrats to them. Now I'm just curious to know what's going to happen after this. But I suppose we can figure that out next time, can we? Anyway, so, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end things here. And we can just figure out the answer to what's going to be in store for us in the next episode. Well, in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 4. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.